Okay, so the first thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take the movement out of the case. So what I'm going to do is very carefully, because remember this is old, as if you didn't already know that, we're just going to lay this down on its back, like that. It's probably not a good idea to let the weight of the door rest like so. So what I do is I just find something that will prop it open. So I'm just going to use that oil sprayer for right now. Okay, now with the clock on its back and my hat brim and glasses getting in the way, hello, we're going to start by inspecting what needs to come out, if anything, prior to taking the movement out. The last thing we want to do is have a problem where something gets hung up and then we potentially break something. What I'm going to do to start off here, I'm going to take the alarm dial off. So what we're going to do here is we got to take this wire off and this whole thing. Wow, that's loose. As a matter of fact, oh, that's encouraging. Oh, that's nice. It's a wood screw. Hooray for whoever did that. Okay, well, that actually simplifies the taking apart of the movement. So anyway, this was part of the alarm setup. It rested on a cam on the back side of the dial. But I do believe that's everything. So now we're going to get our slotted screwdriver, and I'm actually going to start at the top because it's the hardest for me to see. I always like to start with the hardest part. But anyway, so we're just going to loosen the movement screws, and they're easy to see. They're easy to tell what, their purpose is. Grab that out of there. There's one. And there's another one. Let me stand up here and try not to block the camera. There's another one over here. There's usually 4. And depending on the maker of the clock and the time period that the clock was made, they may not have these holding feet like this one does. Some of them are held in by blocks of wood. Yeah, crazy, right? And the 2 on the bottom. There's no way I'm going to be able to reach my fat fingers in there to get that one out of there. So I'll just leave that. And then this one. Alrighty. Now I got to be really careful on the bottom because the paper back with the name on it, I really want to try to not mess up. Now here's another handy dandy tool that I forgot to mention. It's got little grippies you push up on the bottom. It's hard to see, the camera's not focusing on it, but they have these little push-up feet, or these little feet on there. And it's wonderful for grabbing screws that are in hard to reach places. You can even kind of undo screws a little bit with them. There we go. Okay, so now I do believe we are ready to lift this out of here. Just a visual inspection here to make sure nothing's hitting anything. Pay attention to the hammer and not get it caught on something. Alright, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab it by the plates at the top and the bottom, and then I'm just going to very carefully lift it out, like so. Always keep it supported. Okay, and that's the only thing I'm going to take out of here, so I'm just going to go ahead and close the door. And the clock is now without a heart. This is going to be our main focus, right here. We are ready to start doing stuff. We got to take this off. This thing that I'm wiggling here, it goes right here. This is the suspension spring and rod, or pendulum leader, or whatever you want to call it. all you got to do is just kind of move the end back and forth here. Here, you know what? I'll make it easier for you to see what I'm doing here. But you just kind of, it fits into a little slot here, and then you just very slowly run it back and forth, lift it out. You can kind of let it fall there. Sometimes you can get them to fit through the bottom. This one does. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's rare. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this little doodad right here. What this is for is adjusting what the hour striking point is. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to open up this little bent over eye hook here. In fact, I have to open it up quite a ways. Maybe I can get that to fit through there. Nope, not yet. Move up a little. There we go. Straighten that out. Okay, there we go. And we'll just lift that out. It's through another eye right here, which I do believe is original. And we're just going to move that over to the out-of-the-way pile. Now what we're going to do is we're going to let down these springs. That's where this comes in handy. Now, I'm not exactly sure what size these winding arbors are, so we're just going to do a little trial and error. This one's a 6. Whew. I do believe, how about a 5? Nope, it's a 6. Okay, which is a fairly common size for these older clocks. Honestly, I was just guessing. I got very lucky. So anyway, what this is for is, I mean, yeah, you can wind it like this. And you can see how the little winding thing works on the bottom. But anyway, what I need to do is stop that from happening. So I need to let down the spring, but before I can do that, I actually need to wind it up a little bit here and get it almost completely wound, which is pretty close to where that is there. Now we're going to take this off, lift the movement up, and I need to work this around the back and around that way, like that. Okay, I'm going to do this one at a time. We have to do this side too, but I'm starting with the time side because, quite honestly, the ticking is bugging the crap out of me. So, what we're going to do here is I had somewhere a little doodad. You know what? I'll just use this file right here. But what I like to do is try to hold the movement down as much as I can. So I have this system that I devised where I drilled a little hole on the table, and then I stick a little something through there, and then that way it kind of holds it at one point, so that way I can go ahead and turn this. Now what I'm doing, I know this is going to be impossible for you to see from this angle, but there's a click in here where it falls on a sprocket of some sort. It's like a cam. And what I'm doing is moving that out of the way. I might be able to show this actually. Let me go ahead and bring this in while these clocks are going off. We're going to loosen it, or we're going to tighten the grip here, and we're going to lift this up past the point, and then we're just going to let this unwind. Okay. Alright, so now that you see what I'm doing there, I'm going to zoom it out so you can see what my hands are doing. Okay. Pushing that up, opening that up, and then we're just very slowly letting the spring down. Okay, stopping every so often to check where the clamp is. Okay, we're still pretty loose, so okay. You can even kind of do this, but just do it very slowly. Take your time. You don't want to snap it, because if you snap it, like if you let it snap, you know, like unwind real fast, sometimes you can actually break the spring that way. But you always want to take your time when doing this. Okay. And what I like to do is I like to get the clamp centered in the center of the spring. Sorry, I didn't mean to bump you there. Let me undo my holding thing here. Yeah, see, it's not centered. Okay, and it's tightening up in there, so that's good. And this side. That. I just like to make sure it's as centered as possible. Okay, put my little holding plug in. Get back to this. Okay, and now we can let it down all the way. Which, with this system that they have on here, I actually need to take something else off of here. Can you believe it? This here is, it's a way that you honestly don't even need this. But what it is it was something that somebody came up with years ago when they first made these, because people, they always said, oh, don't overwind your clock, you'll break the spring. Well, that's not, you know, strictly true. A lot of people, and you will find these movements where they've been taken off and they're just gone. So, just warning you ahead of time on that. And then this lifts right off, presumably. Okay, there. Okay, so now that shouldn't be a problem. Let me get my light back in here where I can see something. Let down tool back on, my little screwdriver, and we'll finish this out. Okay, we are now completely let down on that clamp. I'm going to do the same to this side, but I'm going to avoid having to stop in the middle and just take this off now. And I'm actually going to keep these separate from each other so that I know which side they came from. It really doesn't matter, but I care, so, you know. Now this one I might be able to show a little bit better, I don't know, but since I basically explained it already over there. Okay. Yeah, that is a much better vantage point, I do believe. A lot easier to see. Let me just put my arm out of the way. Okay. Now, provided I can see what I'm doing, so I'll just look at the camera. There we are. Let that unwind a little bit here. I'll zoom it out a little bit now that you see what's going on there. And again, sometimes it'll want to jump on you, but try not to let it do that. Okay, is my spring clamp in the center? Okay, it is now. This is pretty much all the way. Okay, there we go. Okay, and that, as they say, is that. So now we're going to zoom out. And now the next portion of this is actually just taking it apart. So now we're going to go ahead and work on that. Let me get you a different view though.